No, we've never been to. We've only been to. Yeah, we've been to like New York and Florida, but never ventured any further west.
It's time for you to pioneer again.
Yes.
Yeah, be good.
Well, here we have a lot of hills. They're not mountains, but they're hills. And because we're a tourist destination, the Wi-Fi is not always really good because there's so many people on it. And so we weren't able to connect very well. But here in my home, our house is kind of on a top of a hill. And so we've got great connectivity. So we may have found a solution to our problem for next year. So I'm pretty excited to see.
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Really cool. How many years have you guys been running now?
So this is our third year.
You're doing well. Cool.
Yep. Our first year we had 8 submissions and 30 people came. And then last year we had 220 submissions that came from 34 countries and 28 states.
Wow.
And then this year we had 283 that came from 32 countries and 23 states. So it's been neat watching it grow, and I have no idea how many people are going to be able to attend. This has literally thrown open the doors that people can attend without having to physically come here that wouldn't have been able to any other way. So we're pretty excited.
That's cool. That's really good.
Really good.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to dive in because I'm going to go ahead and let you guys know you made it into the top 6. It was so hard to pick our winner this year. And so we have judges that are spread across the United States to kind of keep it an even voting system. And one of the things all of the judges brought up, and I'm just going to go ahead and dive in. Actually, no, I lied. You guys, I am so sorry. I'm so excited to interview Ruth and Dave that I completely forgot that you guys are watching in on us and have no idea who I'm talking to. So let's rewind a little bit. And I would like to welcome Dave and Ruth Watts to the Branson International Film Festival. And you guys are the creator of Is There More?
Yeah.
So that's what I want to know. Is there more? Without giving it away, because some of the people may not have watched your project yet when we send this out live on Facebook and YouTube. So the question that almost all the judges were asking is what happened in the dark on that night that we all know about. That we know you had to turn off your cameras and probably conceal them because you had to flee for your lives, basically. Is there more to that story that you can share, or is it something that you really can't share just yet?
Yeah, that's a great question. Yes, definitely one of the scenes in the film that has prompted the most questions and the most interest, and probably shocked a lot of people that happens. Yeah, I'll give a little bit more insight. I won't give all the details, but the night it was kind of really surreal for us, as being there. It was surreal enough being in a really remote part of India, and then to draw that kind of a negative attention that we weren't planning for at all. Our guide that we were with, Bal, he knew a lot more of the risk because he's been there before and stuff. But yeah, for that to happen, and essentially for us, we were, from our point of view, we obviously, as it escalated, we had to, we were actually locked in the bedroom we were in. And we say bedroom, as you see in the film, it wasn't, it was just like a concrete floor.
Yeah.
And the mosquito net was our own mosquito net. Other than that, we were just roughing it. And it was, I don't know, the footage does show it, but it was absolutely sweltering in the heat.
Yeah, it was so hot. It was so sweaty. And the bed, it was just it was just a board. So it wasn't really like there was no mattress, was there? There was a board with a couple of sheets on. It was so it was very basic, wasn't it? Very basic.
And obviously for us, from what we saw and what we heard, it was all very you saw a few torches and stuff, but it was just a load of foreign language. We couldn't understand what was going on. We didn't. It wasn't until the morning when we sat down and spoke with Bal again. he relayed exactly what was discussed and what happened, and because it was pitch black. There wasn't much light. You couldn't really tell what was going on. So it was just a real, for us at the time. It was just in that moment, it was a real surreal moment of what's actually happening here. We didn't actually quite realize the extent of the danger in the moment too. It wasn't,
which is probably a blessing in disguise. Thank God. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And I think as well, it was amazing to have had the opportunity to speak to the people who were living there, and their kind of experience of real personal persecution as well on themselves. And actually, it was quite a hard decision, wasn't it, to leave? But we just felt it was right for the safety of the people that were living there as well, because we just knew that we were leaving them behind and we didn't want to put them at risk at all. So we just thought, actually,
because the plan was to we were planning to stay for a couple of nights, and we were going to interview people, and we were going to focus on like persecution, and but the initial kind of brief was to capture Bao doing his ministry of outreach into these really isolated areas that have never heard the gospel. So that was the intention, and obviously then it realized actually, there's the say opposition, people that have other beliefs that have this very forceful kind of response to the Christian faith coming into their area. So yeah, but we won't tell you anymore. You have to watch it if you haven't seen it.
Yes. So have you been in touch with them since then to learn what happened to them in the days to follow, that they're safe and they were able to work things out?
Yeah, we heard from, because obviously Baal had connections with them, and we did hear in the sequential days afterwards that they were absolutely fine. They no harm came to them, which was good. Great. Yeah, which was a real relief to us, wasn't it? Yeah, that was one of our big concerns. We were going to leave and things were still going to happen, but they were all safe, and yeah, we were pleased with that.
Yeah,
so.
That's good. Well, moving on to a different topic, and I was intrigued when I watched it because my first train of thought was, oh no, what are they driving into? And then when you revealed everything that happened after the fact, this is really hard talking in code without people knowing what we're talking about. But I don't drink coffee, okay? My husband does. Do you guys put brown sugar in coffee in the UK? Is that like a thing?
It is weirdly, like if you go to any coffee house anywhere in the UK, it's typically, if it's like a takeout one, you have like the little sachets. It's typically brown sugar, which is what people have. And there is white sugar option, but most people in coffee, in tea, you tend to have white sugar.
Yeah.
And in coffee, you have brown sugar. No idea why, but it's just what we do.
It's a thing.
It's a thing. It's a thing.
Yeah, it sounds very delicious. I love the coffee. So when I was 8 years old, my dad was a pastor, and my mom would always go over and have coffee with him. And they would make mine with like 3/4 milk and 1/4 coffee. And one time there was coffee grounds in it, and I didn't know it, and I drank it fast. I have not touched the stuff since then. It was just.
No.
Well, I tried once as an adult because my husband loves coffee, but I just can't do it. So what possessed you guys as a couple to do an adventure? I mean, you kind of reveal that at the beginning, but exploring, is there more? Like, because my husband and I have traveled overseas on mission trips before, and the experience is so completely different because it does get you out of your normal. And even this quarantine has literally like locked us inside of what we take for granted because it's a part of our everyday living. But now it's all of a sudden become our new normal and kind of boxed us in. But what you guys did is like unboxed yourself and made yourself vulnerable to other cultures. Like, why would you do something so crazy at such a young age? And would you recommend it to other people to do?
Yeah, it's a really good question.
I think, yeah, like you say, we reveal a little bit in the documentary, but I think like we're both from Christian homes, and we both kind of grew up going to church and doing the kind of, like you say, the regular normal thing for Christian family, and getting married, and we just kind of ticking by, going to church, having your friends, doing life. And it was just like, we believe there is a God and we believe God's out there.
Mm-hmm.
But if God is really out there, maybe we should be living more for him. There's more to it than we've kind of discovered. And yeah, I don't know, your kind of passion and heart for capturing kind of films and capturing stories, and I love like just chatting to people and hearing people's stories. It kind of just made sense, didn't it?
It was it was always something like when we first met, because Ruth had done a lot more traveling than I had.
Yeah.
I'd only travelled sort of within sort of European countries close to the UK. Which we've been to South America and stuff, and India before. So it was just something we always wanted to do, something to, as a couple, make memories before you do the grown-up thing of settling down or having kids or buying a house. And we just thought, actually, you know what, we're blessed. We've got jobs that will allow us to do this. We've got a bit of finance that can fund the travel and all that jazz, and we've got the kit, and we've got the ideas, and we just thought, actually, you know what, let's do it. And our goal was, when we set out on the adventure, was even if we don't make a film at the end of the trip, and we've just had a great time and we feel like we've grown and learned, that would be enough. So for us, this is obviously, we wanted to make a film, and we're so pleased that we made this film, and we're so pleased that the number of people have seen it that we wanted to see it, and it's gone further than we wanted to initially. And it's great. And I would say I would definitely, we both encourage anyone, particularly if you're if you're young and you haven't got like those commitments of kids, or like really fixed jobs, or even, I would say, even if you're old and you're like, actually you're of an older age and you want to go for it, the world is there to take in. Obviously not right now, we're in lockdown, don't go anywhere. But obviously in the years to come, travel, see different things. It's such an amazing world, and from a faith point of view, it does open your eyes to see, even if it's different faiths, it opens your eyes to what your faith is more, and you understand it more. And
I think one of our main things was just getting out of our comfort zone, and it was getting out of that comfort zone. You can then trust God more, you can rely on him more. And we just found, like, every day it was just like, God, I don't know what's going to happen today. Like, please, like, just be with us. And we'd be praying, wouldn't we? And we'd be, just relying on him every day. And like you said, I just think, if you can get out and challenge yourself, either traveling, or if it's just getting out of your comfort zone within your sphere of whatever you can do, if it's just... I think it's amazing, isn't it? Mm-hmm. So we'd definitely do something like that again.
That's awesome. So when's the next trip?
That's a good question. That's a good question. We were talking. We actually, last night we were sitting down thinking, because we were all in this quarantine. It's like, oh man, when are we next gonna travel? Where are we gonna go? And obviously now we've actually got a daughter. She's 1.5, so that kind of limits us a bit more to the craziness of the journey. But who knows?
One of the girls I used to mentor, for her 21st birthday, she wanted to take a pilgrimage from the southern part of Spain to the northern part of Spain with only her backpack, her Bible, and her camera, and one change of clothes. And she had the dream she was about 16, 17 years old. I was like, Jillian, are you sure you want to do that? You better talk to your parents about that. And they totally helped her prep for it. And she had the most amazing experience for her 21st birthday. That's what they did. And her mom met on the northern side of Spain and had coffee together and talked about her adventure. And, it was before she got married and settled down and started her family. And so on the family side of things, now that you have a child and are raising them, I was thinking of, Bendy down in Australia, her dad, the crocodile guy. Oh, what is his name? He used to, he died 5 years ago. You know who I'm talking about?
What's his name?
Oh, this is going to drive me nuts.
Steve Irwin.
Steve Irwin.
That's the one.
My husband's yelling over there. So Steve Irwin. So Bendy kind of took his shoes in a way and continued his legacy. So do you feel that missions work would probably be part of your family legacy that you'll pass on to your children?
I'd like to think so. Yeah. I'd love to take a little one, you know, in a few years somewhere, you know, for her to experience stuff, you know, and just get out of her comfort zone. And
How do you make that decision as parents? Like, I would find that to be a challenge, because it's like, this world is so uncertain and we want to provide and protect her safety. Well, have that adventure. So like, as parents, and of course it's probably hard to tell with her only being 1.5, and our grandson is about the same age. He turns 18 months next month. So the thought of Oliver going out, well, first of all, his mom would not agree at all. Not now, but even consider, you know, the acts of servanthood. Of course, you can do it locally really easily, but how do you instill that desire? Do you think that's something she's probably already birthed, if that's something the Lord has for her to do, that she'll naturally be drawn to it and you guys just kind of go with her? Or is it more, hey, honey, this is our life, come with us? And I guess it's kind of a random out of the blue question, but as parents, I think that would be an interesting, you know, because what if she has no desire to go anywhere? And
because I guess from both of our parents had never done missions or never really gone travel. Your dad actually has.
Oh yeah.
He went to one once when he was older. He went somewhere, but yeah, our parents, we both never grew up with, you know, families that did missions and stuff. So it's not something that's ever been like instilled with us through our, you know, generation or anything like that. But with our, you know, with our little one, it's kind of like, it's definitely, I think we'd like it to be like, we've got a desire to do more, you know, more traveling and stuff. And obviously she's gonna have to come on the journey with us wherever we go until she fends for herself. But then hopefully, you know, it might install a passion, you know, impart a passion into her. But yeah, it is a big.
And of course, her safety and all that, definitely that is a massive priority. And I think, you know, that's just something you have to think about, isn't it? I think we'd think about that kind of thing a lot more if and when we travel with her. I think when we went on this trip, it was just like, yeah, pack the bags, let's go. It doesn't really matter where we're going, let's just go. Whereas next time, I think we'd just, and it's, I think, whatever we do, she's going to take stuff from it. And I think, if she wants to do it, great. If not, it's up to her, as long as she's having fun. And
I know so my first missions trip was to the Philippines. And ironically, I was working as a video DJ for an organization called Youth Network TV. So this has been back in my 20s. A while ago. But so when we met with him, he was looking for a cinematographer. My husband is very amazing with the camera. And so I said, sure, we'll go out and do the lunch thing. And I was trying to get my husband to see the vision for the need for a good cinematographer. But the pastor kept showing us these pictures of these hungry children in the Philippines and talking about that they were going to go do Survivor Island for 3 days with no running water and electricity. And I'm like, well, that's really nice. Let's talk about this over here. And he kept pulling these pictures out of hungry children. I'm like, I wish he would just stop it, you know? And so to get him to stop talking about the missions trip, I said, we'll pray about that. Let's talk about this. He folded up his book and put it away. And he's like, okay. And we're driving home. And I told my husband, I said, you know, we did tell him we'd pray about it. So we probably should. But I don't think we're going to go because we don't have that kind of money in our account. And I like my American culture and comforts. The thought of, I mean, I like to camp and fish and do things outdoors, but 3 days with no running water and out on an island with a culture and a people that I don't know did not sound appealing to me. And I have to tell you, if I could ever do it again, I would do it in a heartbeat. We actually ended up going back the next year because the Lord just threw open the doors in a way that it was undeniable that we were supposed to go. And while we were there, have you guys ever heard of Martin and Gracia Burnham? They were missionaries in the Philippines, late 90s, early 2000s, and the southern islands of the Philippines have an extreme group called the Abu Sayyaf. And Gracia and Martin were there, and they were kidnapped by the Abu Sayyaf and had been held hostage for a very long time. And while we were there on our first trip was the rescue attempt where Martin lost his life and Gracia survived. And she's actually, if you get a chance to read her story, she wrote it in a book called In the Presence of My Enemies. And we actually got to meet a pastor that had smuggled food to them while they were in captivity. And he had favor with this extremist group and was key in helping rescue them. But for me, knowing that that was happening and a reality, I went and bought all new clothes that were really bright colored. And one of the pastor's wife says, Deborah, why do you wear such bright colored clothes? Is that common in America? Is like, no, if this body is getting picked up by rebels, I want the helicopter to be able to see me. I'm not going to be wearing green and brown. And there's a wisdom of going on missions trips and going on adventures and throwing caution to the wind. For me now that I've been on a missions trip, it's not really caution to the wind as much as it is a deepening of our faith and really trusting God with every single moment of our lives. I mean, you guys experienced that in the dark, literally, while you were in India, that we're not going to disclose to people. They'll need to watch and find out what happened. So the big question, is there more? I loved the table scene at the end. Whose idea was it?
It was a bit of a joint idea. We actually we filmed the travel side of the 40 days of travel, and then when we sat down we started processing the footage, post that in the edit, and we wanted to, I had the idea of, I wanted to, like, as if you watch the film, you'll see it's all tied together a bit, and there's a bit of this, you know, overarching story that happens separate to the travel. And we actually we took a few days out and went to this remote cottage, and just sat down and just tried to write that scene, or that whole section of the film. And it just unpacked over a few days.
Yeah, lots of conversations, lots of chats, and I don't know, it just kind of, we were talking about all sorts of stuff, weren't we? All sorts of ideas were flying around, and then we just felt this table. The initial idea was to have a table on top of a mountain. That was the initial idea, but then the logistics were just like, it's going to be a bit of a challenge to get, you know, 30 people up a mountain with a table and all that. So we ended up going for the barn location, as you'll see in the film. But yeah, it was we were pleased with how that came out, that scene. And it was probably because we shot that. It was about 6 months after we actually finished the 40 days of travel. So we filmed all those elements 6 months afterwards, just because of the season in the UK. And actually, the day we filmed it snowed. So we had like a foot of snow outside. And bear in mind, a lot of the travel was filmed in warmer countries. So in the edit, there's one shot, a little Easter egg. If you look closely, you can see it snowing in a shot, which totally breaks the context of, you know, we're walking up a hill which is all sunny and stuff, and then suddenly we're walking and it's the snow falling.
But
Well, I have to say I'm kind of critical of my own work with those kinds of things, and I didn't catch it.
that's good.
That's good.
Good job.
Yeah.
Maybe it was to be expected because you could tell it was kind of not really an afterthought, but an answer to, is there more? There is more.
Yeah.
And so is there going to be a sequel or some more work coming from the David and Ruth household?
Yes, that's a good
That
question.
is a good question.
We wanted, we were going to do the initial thoughts were we were going to do is there more, but a carry on kind of part 2, exploring it more. But we think we're actually going to, is there more? We're going to leave it as it is, as a standalone piece, and then we've got a few ideas on the table that we're weighing up. We've been shooting some other kind of documentaries and stuff over the last couple of years as well, in sort of other different subjects. And then but we're looking. I think the hope would be I'd say over the next year or two, we'll hopefully get another one underway. But yeah, we won't tell you what the topic is yet.
Oh,
That's good. That's good. Maybe it has something to do with a beautiful little girl running around the house right now.
Yeah.
And if you want to know if there's more, you've got a great adventure right there.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Very good. So just kind of a sidebar note to wrap everything up. The quarantine, what has that been like for you guys? I mean, like for me, it just kind of hit me that our daughter, and I mean, Oliver, like I said, is only 18 months. She's starting off her adulting world with a pandemic. And it just hit me today of what they're going through as newlywed couples. You know, you guys know what that's like, all the learning how to cohabitate with one another and everything that comes with that, and then having a child, and then all of a sudden your world becomes unsafe by an unseen force. What is that like in the UK from your guys' perspective?
Yeah, it's a crazy season.
It's pretty crazy, and we've actually recently moved city, so we've moved location, which is also makes it a little bit more.
So we moved 3 weeks before like the quarantine started. So we just bought a house in a different city and moved in. We renovated the house, and obviously in the background it all started picking up, and then suddenly it's like boom, you can't do anything, which was big. And obviously it's been challenging. It's been a real, like, you know, it's weird for life to kind of the normal to stop, and you know, to really think through it and see where we're at. And it's like on a practical level, it's I run a film production company, which essentially all outdoor location filming is just, you know, non-existent at the moment. So it's all post-production inside, and then Ruth actually works for the hospital, so she's one of the
I work for the National Health Service as one of the nurses there. So that's been pretty crazy.
So you're on the front lines.
Pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Not on one of the full-on COVID wards, but we do get. I'm sort of based in like a theatre, so we do get patients with COVID or suspected COVID patients. So we have to wear all the full PPE protection. So yeah, that's been pretty crazy, pretty strange. But yeah, no, it's good. They've been really good. The hospital's been amazing at providing all the set equipment, and staffing's been really good. And yeah, so it's been fine. But
okay, so did people in the UK do like they did here, and just when they did the quarantine or got ready to do it, suddenly buy up all the toilet paper there too?
yeah.
Did they seriously?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
That was the first thing that went. Toilet paper was gone, and then
Toilet paper and pasta.
Pasta ran out.
Toilet paper and pasta.
My brain is still trying to wrap around that. No pun intended, but it's like, okay, it's like when it's talking in Revelations, I think it was Revelations, about how they call good evil and evil good. It's like, why are you buying up toilet paper instead of buying up peanut butter? You know, I mean, it just doesn't make sense in my.
No.
And for us, because we had some friends in China, and so and some stateside that worked with Chinese groups, so we have been kind of watching everything since December. So it didn't really catch us off guard like a lot of people, because Branson is a rural community, even though it's a tourist destination. And at the end of December, 1st of January, we had several friends getting sick, and even children getting sick with some type of a respiratory thing that hung on for 2 or 3 weeks. And the fever was like 104 and 105. And there was a lot of uncertainty, but they eventually recovered. So we think that it very well could have already came through our region, because now when they're saying we're going to reach our peak, we only have, I think, 11 cases in a town of 10,000 people.
Mhm.
And only one confirmed death who had an underlying heart disease issue, and he's in his late 80s. So it's been interesting, because I was on a leave of absence for my job because we were supposed to be filming. So I just extended my leave and just kept doing what I've been doing, but expanding my creativity as well to be able to set the festival up virtually. And we've got some other ideas that I will talk to you kind of on the sidebar note a little bit later that you guys could possibly be involved with. We just want to see how things flow this year to see whether or not it's something that we want to expand and do from a film production side, because like over here, our theaters are all closed, you know?
Mm.
And that's 40,000 theaters that suddenly just shut down. And they did such a great job in recovery. The film, I Still Believe, which is the Jeremy Camp story, just launched and had its opening weekend. And then we went into quarantine. And Lionsgate really did a great job at streaming it. And we had no problem paying $20 to watch it, because that's what we would have spent for 2 tickets anyway, and to go to the theater. So they did a really great job in the recovery of it. But I have a feeling it's going to change the face of the industry as a whole going forward, and we have to be ready for it. And I think it's going to open up a lot of opportunity for independent filmmakers. So I'm excited to have you guys kind of in the stream of developing great content, great story that left us really stopping and thinking, is there more even beyond what we've already experienced? And I think that even goes up beyond just the adventures of other countries. So in conclusion, if there's somebody watching right now and they're wondering, is there more to life than this? What would your answer be for them?
Good question again. Is there more to life? Our answer would be there is more, and we always love that about the "is there more?" You flip it around and it says there is more, which is and I would say to anyone, yeah, if you're out there wondering, is there more? Even if you're a Christian, non-Christian, you're even in this pandemic season of what is life right now, what is out there. I would say the best thing to do is explore. Look at it. We went on a physical exploration of traveling around to explore the question, but obviously you might just want to, you can watch our documentary and look at what the Gospels say about life, and look at what the world says about life, and speak to people. There's nothing better than talking to someone about it. And there is more, and there's a lot of things out there in the world to explore. And hopefully if you're looking for something, look towards God, and you never know what He'll reveal.
Yeah, I think just exactly the same as you. And I suppose just going back to the documentary and just that scene at the end of where obviously I don't want to share too much, but just people might be sitting there thinking this isn't for me, or I don't really know how I fit into society or fit into a faith or a religion, but it's just I suppose like what Dave said, just explore, and the table scene at the end in our minds, in our heart, was it just kind of, you're welcome, like come and just have a seat at the table and have a meal, and it's like, yeah, just come and that's it, just come, you're welcome, and just take a seat and share your story. Everyone's got a story, and people care, and God cares, and yeah, that's it.
That was beautiful. Ruth, Dave, thank you so much for your time this evening. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
So is there anything you wanted to share that you didn't get to share?
Ooh.
No, I don't think so. No, I think we've wrapped it up, haven't we? Yeah.
Well, if there is, write it down and come to festival next year, and that can be your next great adventure.
Yeah. I love it. Yeah.
All right. Well, God bless you and keep you, and may He forever keep His light on the path with just one step right in front of you, so you can see clearly for that moment. And we will stay in touch, and I will let you know about that little idea that's been running around in my head. Okay?
Yeah, that'd be great. Appreciate that.
All righty. God bless you.
Yeah.
You too. God
Yeah.
bless.